most devastating thing to happen to Donald Trump didn't occur in Manhattan. Indeed. By the way, yesterday, the judge in the case had questioned the prosecution about whether some of the information from 2011, from Trump's lies to banks and insurance companies and to the state government for tax purposes, if those lies could be used as evidence in his trial. And Trump later on thought that the judge was siding with him, saying that, you know, it's beyond the statute of limitations. And so the judge clarified that this morning when Trump came into court and said, what I meant was that you can't be prosecuted for things before 2014, but things before 2014 can be used as evidence to show a pattern of behavior for the things post-2014 that we are prosecuting you for. Which means Trump kind of blew it. You know, he completely misunderstood. And then, you know, the other big thing yesterday that I thought was just hysterical was his lawyer got up and said, you know, how dare you not allow Donald Trump to have a jury trial? He's entitled to a trial by jury. It's right there in the Constitution. It's the 6th or 7th Amendment. You know, why aren't you giving him a trial by jury? And the judge says, because you didn't request one. You're supposed to check the box on the form that you submitted. And so, you know, Trump is like, well, his lawyer anyway. But the other devastating thing that happened to Trump was John Kelly. Last night, John Kelly, who was Donald Trump's chief of staff, he was, you know, an Army, I believe a Marine Corps general. I could be wrong, but I believe so. And he's the former White House chief of staff. And he said yesterday, he said, and I quote, "What can I add to what has already been said? A person that thinks those who defend their country in uniform or are shot down or seriously wounded in combat or spent years being tortured as POWs are all suckers because there's nothing in it for them? A person that did not want to be seen in the presence of military amputees because it doesn't look good for me? A person who demonstrated open contempt for a Gold Star family, for all Gold Star families on TV during the 2016 campaign, and rants that our most precious heroes who gave their lives in America's defense are losers and wouldn't visit their graves in France? A person who's not truthful regarding his position on the protection of unborn life, on women, on minorities, on evangelical Christians, on Jews, on working men and women? A person that has no idea what America stands for and has no idea what America is all about? A person who cavalierly suggests that a selfless warrior who has served his country for 40 years in peacetime and war should lose his life for treason in expectation that someone will take action? He's talking about, you know, Trump's call for Mark Milley's execution. A person who admires autocrats and murderous dictators? A person that has nothing but contempt for our democratic institutions, our Constitution, and rule of law? I mean, in fact, we now know Donald Trump did call our troops suckers when he was at the cemetery in France. He said that he didn't want to visit the graves of the fallen soldiers. He said that they were suckers and losers. He didn't want to be seen with military amputees. And John Kelly confirmed all this yesterday. Up until now, he'd been kind of silent about it. And then Trump goes in front of one of his little cult-following things and says, you know, Mark Milley should be in front of a firing squad. And so the news media, you know, goes around. This is Travis Getty over at rawstory.com. And they asked a bunch of Trump supporters, what do you think? Vicky Entseminger says, there's only one cure for treason, being put to death. Cynthia Yaki, a Trump supporter, said, she's disappointed Milley hasn't already been executed. Why is he not in there in front of a firing squad within a month, she said. A registered Republican from Oskaloosa, Rob Daniels, says, we used to execute or imprison people for all the treasonous actions I saw. Now in this day and age, it's just throw it underneath the rug. Right. This is not going well for America.